Welcome back. 5 days away till Election Day, and they are on the attack. Donald Trump slammed Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail.
She'll be in court for her entire tenure, and she'll be convicted. Because, look, the first time, I mean, frankly, forget about this time. The first time, she gets a subpoena from the United States Congress, and she deletes everything. There shouldn't have been a second time, but I have respect that the FBI has given it a second chance.
I want to bring in Harvard Law Professor Emeritus and Defense Attorney Alan Dershowitz, a Hillary Clinton supporter, and also the author of Electile Dysfunction, a guide for unaroused voters, and there are a lot of them. Alan, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we've been trying to figure this out. First, what's your take on the latest reports this morning, another story in the Journal, that the FBI is looking into pay-to-play allegations at the Clinton Foundation, whereas you wanted to get to the Secretary of State's office, you paid a toll. You gave money to the Clinton Foundation.
There should be investigations, but we shouldn't be hearing play-by-play descriptions. You know, this is not a baseball game where we say, the Indians have tied it up, now we're going to have a man on first, man on second. Investigations are supposed to be conducted secretly in private, and then an announcement is made by the Attorney General of the United States, we are going to prosecute or we're not going to prosecute. Now we have leaks from the FBI. Look, we have a bigger problem. The biggest problem is that criminal justice has become politicized in America. We have one Attorney General. She's in the cabinet, and she's the political advisor to the president on justice matters, and she's the ultimate law enforcement official. In almost every other country, they divide those functions. There are civil servants, career officials in charge of investigating and prosecuting. That's the way it should be in America.
All right, well, that's all said. That's all fine, and that's all said and good. But the fact is now the horse has left the barn.
Sure.
Okay, we now know that there is an investigation that is now of high priority at the FBI of Clinton dealings with the Clinton Foundation while she was Secretary of State. What's your take on that?
Well, we know a lot of things. We know there's an ongoing investigation of Trump's former campaign manager. We know that Donald Trump has said he's going to be suing everybody who ever complained against him. We know there may be tax investigations. The problem is we're seeing
you think these are equal? No. We're talking about a criminal investigation from the FBI as it relates to
What we're seeing is over-criminalization of policy differences on both sides. Candidates ought to be able to run. The criminal law ought to be used only as an absolute last resort. There has to be a kind of Hamlet moment before a crime is committed, to be or not to be a felon. You don't commit crimes by negligently or carelessly, and I think we're seeing too much criminalization on both sides. By the way, I defended the rights of Governor Perry, Congressman DeLay. I don't like it when Democrats push for criminal attacks on Republicans as well. Let's run for office and let the voters decide, not people in suits from law schools making decisions in Justice Department
offices. Yeah, but you still haven't answered the question, Alan. I mean, the content is the content.
Well,
and the content is that there are examples whereas donors paid money to the Clinton Foundation and were given special treatment.
But to quote President Obama, we don't go by innuendo and leaks. Let's see the result of a final investigation. As I understand it, there's a dispute. There are those in the Justice Department, probably career people, who say this is all hearsay. It's based on an author who has an axe to grind. If in the end there should be a criminal indictment, let the chips fall where they may.
Why would they make it top priority if there was, nothing? Or they weren't concerned at all?
Because the Clintons, she's running for president. So, of course, it's a top priority. I would think that the investigation of Trump's former campaign advisor is a top priority, too.
No, it's a former campaign advisor.
Look,
but
he was the campaign advisor at the time it happened.
But it's not Donald Trump.
I understand that. And by the way, it's not Hillary Clinton. No, it's the Clinton Foundation. Now, look, I agree with you. I think if she's elected president, she ought to disassociate herself, her family from the Clinton Foundation, turn it over to the Gates Foundation, turn it over to somebody else. It is wrong to have foundations that accept money from foreign governments, and even the perception exists that there might be favors. But so far, there's been no evidence of any action taken by the State Department that would be a function of money received by the Clintons, by the Clinton Foundation. So let's see what the evidence is produced. But what Comey did was so wrong, to just announce that there is pertinent emails. He hadn't even seen the emails. He doesn't know the context.
You think it would have been better for Comey to shut up, not say anything, Hillary Clinton wins the White House, and then we find out later after she's president? Do you think that would have been better?
Let me tell you what's even worse. So he makes the announcement, Donald Trump wins the White House, and then 2 days later after the election, he announced, whoops, we checked, and all of those emails were duplicates of what we had previously seen, and there's nothing new.
What did Brett Baer report last night?
It's all related to the Clinton Foundation investigation,
and that there are new emails,
it's been going on since last year, and there's certainly a push-pull between Justice and the FBI in terms of Justice trying to basically get them to stand down on the investigation of the Clinton Foundation, particularly after this meeting that the Justice and FBI had in February of this year. But he was reporting that these laptops that Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson turned over as part of these limited immunity deals that were going to be destroyed. They have not been destroyed, that they're in possession of the FBI down in the Washington field
I think the more
office.
evidence, the better. I think that's right. I think, look, this should be a legitimate investigation, and it should be conducted thoroughly, and at the end, we should know whether there is enough to indict or not to indict. But this leaking, and people leak and spin at the same time, and Donald Trump says this is worse than Watergate. This should not be the way campaigns are run or elections are run, by selective leaks.
But this information is coming out because, and this is, I'm guessing, but we've discussed this, that the FBI investigators feel like that they have had basically a boot put on their neck from the Justice Department, and so this information was likely going to, this is how it's being.
FBI investigators are the Justice Department. There is one Justice Department. The FBI is part of that Justice Department. It's the investigative arm of the Justice Department, and the answer is not leaking and selective leaking. Look, there are people in the FBI who are strong Trump supporters. There were probably people in the Justice Department who were strong Hillary Clinton supporters. You know, when John Harlan was appointed Justice of the United States Supreme Court, he said, I will never again vote in an election. That's the way it ought to be. We must depoliticize criminal justice investigations, not allow leaks. We're a third world country when it comes to the way we conduct criminal investigations. We're turning into a banana republic.
What if Hillary Clinton wins? Are there, do these investigations just suddenly stop?
No, of course not, because there are career people. But what if Donald Trump wins? Do the investigations just stop? There are investigations of both. The IRS is going to be looking into his tax shelter.
No. I want to talk about Hillary Clinton right now.
Of course you want to talk about Hillary Clinton.
Because the last time we checked, there was only one person running for president that is under FBI investigation.
As far as we know, she is not under FBI investigation. What she is under is there was an investigation, it was closed, and Comey announced to Congress that if new information comes in, he will look at it. That's all.
Now, sources from the FBI told Brett Baer last night the Clinton Foundation investigation has now taken a very high priority. Agents are interviewing and re-interviewing multiple people on the foundation case about the possibility of pay-to-play. Pointing to the FBI's 302s and the interview of Clinton, top aides said a lot of people said a lot of things. Now agents are going through what they have and what others have said, checking if it lines up. They also said the classified email investigation is being run by the National Security Division.
Okay, so we now have clear evidence of a crime by agents of the FBI leaking information about ongoing investigations. That is a clear crime. You are not allowed to leak information about ongoing investigations, particularly if it involved any grand jury. So yes, everybody is creating problems here, and that's not the way elections ought to be conducted by the United States.
Hillary Clinton had nothing to do with creating any of these problems.
Of course she did, and of course so did the people in the Justice Department who were leaking, and so did her husband by going on the airplane and meeting with Loretta Lynch. There is so much blame to go around. Let me tell you why I'm supporting Hillary Clinton, because we're living in a world of extremes. The right is getting stronger, the left is getting stronger, the center is weakening. We need a centrist president to stabilize the world. Hillary Clinton promises more in terms of being a stabilizing force in the world than Donald Trump. That's why I'm supporting her.
Do you think that if there are donors that gave money to the Clinton Foundation, they will get special treatment should Hillary Clinton become president?
I do not, and I don't think there's been any evidence of that. And I think, look, the problem in American politics is donors always get special treatment from Republicans and Democrats. Pay to play is unfortunately a sickness within the American political system, equally applicable to Republicans and Democrats. Let's end that. Let's strengthen the laws. Let's depoliticize criminal justice, but let's not one-sidedly look at Hillary Clinton because the information about her is being leaked by rogue FBI agents who have an agenda and who are committing crimes in doing that.
Now, I seem to remember most people thought Jim Comey did a really good job back in July.
I didn't. I condemned him. I said that, remember that he's a good man, a decent man. I still think he's a good man.
Yeah.
But the building he's in is named after J. Edgar Hoover. And the precedent he establishes could be used by rogue FBI agents who really want to put a thumb on the scale of justice. What he should have done back then is announced the investigation is over. If we find new information, we will look at it.
That's what he did.
No, he then said, let me give you my personal opinion. I think that she engaged in this and that and the other thing. And then he wrote to Congress again saying, oh, by the way, we have found pertinent emails. How does he know they're pertinent if he hasn't looked at them?
Do you think they would use the word an indictment is possible?
Who? Leakers?
FBI sources. I mean, if it weren't real serious?
FBI sources may be Trump operatives. We don't know who they are. We do not live by innuendo. That's why we have rules against selective leaking by the Justice Department. Right. Let's see what the evidence is, not what the innuendo is.
Well, it flipped, and you were talking about Hillary operatives. I'm sure you'd call it a conspiracy theory.
Alan Dershowitz there. Breaking news we want to bring to you. Jobless claims just hit the tape, coming in at 265,000. We have not seen a big move in markets, although we're now expecting a higher opening for the broader averages, up 40 points on the Dow. Back in a minute.